A lot of stuff in the news about that school shooting up in Michigan. The boy killed four people and injured 7. But you know, when most everybody on my subscriber list knows about my son passing away in 1986. So it's kind of like been there, done that, and I kind of know what it's like when you lose a child. And every time something happens, like this school shooting, you know, and these 4 kids that are gone. I mean, you know, they had the day before it happened with their kids, and they got up in the morning and got their kids off to school. Never to see them again, you know, alive. And every time something like that happens, I start thinking about, going over in my mind, you know, like the day it happened, and then I'm like later on that evening when they know their child's gone, dead. You know what? You know about what they're going through at that particular time. You know what they're going through the next day. You know what they're going through the next week. You know, you start thinking, well, this time last week I had my baby. And that went on in my mind, I don't know how many months, you know. I'd say, well, 6 months ago my son was here. And there's so many things, like the day it happens and you're sitting at home, possibly at home, the child's room is there in the house. The child's room is exactly like the child left it. And man, so I kind of know what they're going through. The only thing that's really worse for them is their child was murdered. My child wasn't. It was an accident. But the pain was I was unable to bear it. But when stuff like that happens, it just goes through my mind, you know, like I'm thinking now, let's see, it happened Tuesday, so it hadn't been a week yet. So they've already went to the funeral home and made arrangements and all this stuff. And probably I didn't have nobody to blame for my son's death but me, because I made all the decisions that went up to that. But these parents of these 4 kids that died, I would imagine they want that boy's parents to pay out the nose for that too, because it appears, now I don't know, I'm not saying all this is true that you're seeing on the news and stuff, but it appears like they weren't good parents. You know, you're buying a 15-year-old an automatic pistol and he has access to it. That, my God. So the biggest blame goes to the boy. And I'm glad they're trying him as an adult. He did something I consider an adult thing, so he should get the adult punishment. I won't get into the death penalty or anything like that, but they should really come down on that kid. That kid should never see the daylight outside the prison again. And the parents, I don't know. I think they was planning on running. They're not going to be able to get out on bail. I don't think they, $500,000 bail. That means you have to pay what? Is it 10% or 15% of whatever the bail for a bail bondsman to cover it? Which means, holy crap, they would have to pay what, $50,000 a piece just to make bail. I think the bail should be denied. Period. I don't think they need to be, because it seemed like they was going to run, because they drew out a bunch of cash that same day, $4,000. And I don't know if that's all the money they had or what, but they drew out $4,000. So I don't know, but I just wanted to tell you guys, be thankful for the family you got, and because it can be gone in the heart. You never know what's going to happen. In this case, it was murder. In my case, it was an accident. And I take, is birds supposed to be mating this time of the year? There's several of them flitting around there chasing each other. And Mike can hear them chirping. Anyway, it took us a long time before we would do anything with my son's room. And I kept the bed linens that he slept on for years. I kept the mattress, his mattress that he slept on, and he had wrote a thing on there about Robin. That was the girl that was driving the car that he died in, and of course she died too. And it was something, I can't remember now what all it was, but it was something about Russell. He called it, some people call him Russell, I always call him Bud. And it was something like, it was one of them lines like Russell and Robin sitting in the tray, KISSING, something like that. He wrote it. It was in a blue magic marker. I wasn't too thrilled about him writing on that. But Robin was his first love, I guess, and he died. They died together. But every time something happens like this, it starts going over in my mind, you know, and now next week I'll say, well, last week at this time, those 4 kids were still alive, you know. I think 2 of them was girls and 2 of them was boys. And the one boy, the 16-year-old, I can't remember his name, he was on the high school varsity team, and he jumped on the guy that was doing the shooting, trying to stop it, and wound up getting shot himself. Oh, I mean, just what a waste. And the 17-year-old girl, she had already been accepted at several colleges. She was going to go to college. What a freaking waste. But I just wanted to bring your attention to that. You know, it's I don't know, a lot of people think, well, that's terrible, you know, but they really, what's terrible is the parents have to go through that. I mean, it's terrible that the child's died, but it's also terrible that the parents have to grieve over that child. They may not even been in that child's room yet. You know, that's a very difficult thing to do, you know. And there was a chair the night before he died. There was a chair sitting there, a green vinyl chair. And he got into some trouble that day. It wasn't serious trouble, but he got in some trouble, and he was really upset and everything. And in hindsight, I should have hugged that boy and said, "Son, don't take it so hard. You made a mistake, and you'll probably make more mistakes." But no, I didn't. I was ticked off, and I was complaining about what the neighbors was going to think, and you know, I wasn't there for him. And if you got kids, don't ever make that mistake. Always be there for them. Always try to, I don't know. But every time something happens like that, and it happens all the time, but you just don't hear about it. But if it's a mass school shooting or something, you hear about it. And if something happens locally, like I know that man that walked by here the other day with his shopping cart full of his stuff, got hit out there, and now he's dead. I know about that. I don't know what his life situation. He was an older guy, but it couldn't have been too awful low, because he was walking pretty fast pushing that cart. I may run that video again. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. It really pains me to think about what the parents is having to go through. In the beginning, I felt sorry for the parents of the boy, but now some of this stuff has come out. If it's true, I don't feel sorry for them. But anyway, that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about that. Maybe make some people think how thankful they should be that it's not them, and feel some kind of sympathy for the parents of those children that died. Even though they were 14, 15, 16, and 17, they were still babies. They were still babies. And this time last week, last Sunday, they were alive. You can say that again tomorrow. This time last week they were alive, but come Tuesday, wow. Wow. You can't turn back time. Alright folks, I don't mean to be such a downer sometimes, but sometimes stuff is on my mind, and that's on my mind, been on my mind ever since it happened. You know, I know all that routine stuff you have to go through. You know, you have to go to the funeral home. You have to pick out a casket if it's going to be a traditional burial and stuff like that. You have to get a plot at the cemetery and I know all that stuff you have to go through. Hopefully the parents had insurance on their babies. I had insurance on Bud. It wasn't much. I was getting ready to upgrade it from, and we had it with Globe. You know, you get a lot of mail from Globe Insurance about insuring kids. And that's what we had. It wasn't but $5,000. And hadn't had it long, maybe 6 months. And then somebody said, you know, a funeral will cost that much. So I didn't think much about it, but then I decided to go ahead and bump it up to $10,000, but I didn't do it. But the funeral actually wasn't that much. It was like $3,500, something like that. That was in 1986. We had the funeral, a joint funeral with him and Robin at the same. The caskets were side by side, and after the service and everything, everybody was leaving and we was going to leave. My wife was really crying. I don't want to leave him. I don't want to leave him. And it was at Robert's funeral home, and Mr. Roberts come up to her and said, honey, you're not leaving him. And he just said, you got him right here, just patting his chest. He's there. She was really distraught. Well, so was I. So was I. Oh man. Anyhow, enough of this, folks. Love your family. Be thankful you got them. Because the day's coming, you're going to lose that family member, or they're going to lose you. Can't get around it. It hurts so bad. alright, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one, and I guess this is my story and I'm sticking to it. See ya.